morning once again and welcome to the Point. It is Thursday, September 9th, 2021. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV, channel 7, 11, and 20. Good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9, and the folks joining us on Party Grenada and Go to FET Facebook pages. It is Open Line Thursday here on the program where we give you, our viewers and listeners, an opportunity to call us or message us and share anything you'd like to weigh in on, questions you may like to ask, or you'd like to share your opinions. This is a platform to do so. The landline number, it's 435-2041, 435-2041. That's also the WhatsApp number. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can participate on the GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network's Facebook page and the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. We started a discussion on Talk to Things Thursday early this morning, and once time allows, I will get to some of those WhatsApp messages that I haven't read this morning. Also be reminded that it will be a shortened To The Point program this morning as we prepare for the broadcast of the 2021 Hero CPL tournament. The game this morning, I will get the schedule and remind you of who's playing this morning. I believe it's the St. Lucia Kings against Barbados Royals, if my memory serves me correctly. But I will double check and share with you. So let's go to our very first caller of the Open Line Thursday. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Blossom. I didn't plan to copy the first caller, but since you say it will be a shortened program.
No problem.
And then you played a song. Just before the end there, the song, A Touch on Depression.
Tamara's song by St. Bernard?
Yeah, but you mentioned depression.
Yes.
And it brought back to mind my concern about people like myself. I'm not asking for any sympathy. But I know it is like people who have issues with depression in this period of time. And I told you this morning, one of the difficulty I had was in terms of the regulation or the general atmosphere. You want certain things and you can't get it. And that would sort of precipitate or even exacerbate the situation. So I'm thinking about all the people who are, both those who have had it quite a while or who it is coming on to them because of the condition. People in Grenada and probably in the Caribbean generally don't really understand what this thing is about. This thing is a serious thing and encourage you to have to commit suicide and all that kind of thing. I think we should try our best to reach out to people who have these kind of conditions. It's not something you can see on people's face, you know. So I'm glad that you played a song. And I wish that we would pay more attention in this period because the psychosocial issue to me is even more worse than the physical part. Having said that, in terms of our whole approach, and I'm appealing on behalf of other people. I've got reports that people have been told, was tested, and they've been told to go home, and they've been home over 2 weeks. And nobody have called them. Different people have told me that they know of a number of people who are waiting for some kind of direction. And I mean, it's one thing to tell people cooperate, and then with no support is another thing. I think we need to be honest. That's one thing that is lacking in this country. We are really, really not honest. The system, again, even the difficulty on the health workers, especially the nurses on them. We need to find a way to really support the nurses, particularly doctors and also, who are facing this thing. I mean, many of us would talk easily, but these are the people that are feeling the brunt of our stupid behavior right across the board. We have been deficient, all of us, one way or the other, in how we responded to this situation. And I'll end here, Blossom, by saying, the problem with our people is that we don't listen to each other. Before the corona, I came to Grenada. I was saying on one of the other counterpart program in the night that we are facing a crisis and we have to galvanize our people to be in one boat, not a political boat, one boat to understand. And this thing is serious. And for instance, you still have people denying that corona is there. There's real, or they are again who calls it Chinese or 5G? That should be something of the past. We should be thinking, how can we protect each other? What can we do to stay alive in this very difficult period?
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for your participation. Let me... in relation to the delay in getting in touch with people who are in quarantine or for people getting tested, in the interview with Minister of Health Nicholas Steele yesterday, he noted that they are aware of the situation. They are working on bettering the system, but as you can imagine, the system is overwhelmed with the way the current situation is unfolding. So the health officials are appealing for a little bit of patience. I know people's patience are running out, but a little bit of patience as they deal with the situation. We have 30-something people in hospitalized care. That is in addition to 14 deaths that we've registered so far, over 1,400 active cases. So yes, I know they've run out of patience, but just a little bit more as they try to build the health capacity to deal with the increase in cases. All right, let me go to Facebook. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp asks, what are the requirements for unregistered farmers to obtain a pass? Under what condition would a registered farmer be denied access pass for the workers? I am not sure the exact requirements, but you can contact the RGPF. I know that that's the organization's issuing the passes, headquarters, 3999-440-3999. You can inquire there, and you can also inquire about the conditions that a registered farmer can be denied access for the workers. I am not sure if, you know what, let me not say that. Yeah, contact headquarters and they'll better be able to guide you. Next thing, I'll put myself in trouble. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I have a suggestion to make. And this is from something that I've read about China and Singapore. Now, let's start at the beginning. COVID, SARS-2, and those before came since the 2000s, 2003. I am sure that many Grenadians may have had some kind of immunity because of those previous COVIDs. For COVID-19...
Not COVID, most likely coronavirus. That's the group of viruses, not COVID. COVID is a name for COVID-19. The group is called coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Yes.
Yes. There is a suggestion, since that people are going about their business, the place is opened. If you're in quarantine, if you're being isolated probably to your home or to somewhere where there are other people. What China is doing is that if you are quarantined or isolated in your home, they're asking everyone in the home, children and all, to start taking in vapor from hot steam, okay? And as well, taking hot teas every 6 hours. The only criteria is that for the virus, you must have the steam temperature at 170 degrees Fahrenheit. All right? If you have it below that, 160 degrees, the virus does not dissolve or go away. It just gets lessened in the amount of damage that it can do to your immune system and continue. So, Grenadians, you have a chance now to stop it right in your home. 107, get a food thermometer, 170 degrees. You take the steam and you make a funnel and inhale that steam so that your paranasal sinuses can make the virus die. You drink your hot fluids, and you can go out. You can, and that is every 6 hours. And that's my suggestion.
Thank you very much for that.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. I've also heard reports of the steam or heat being able to assist I just want to not adjust, but add to what you were saying in terms of go out with the protocols in mind. So even if you're protecting yourself and inhaling steam every 6 hours, masks, wash your hands, and hand sanitizer. Go out, but only if you have to, and if you have to, obey the protocols. Good morning, caller.
Morning, how are you?
Morning, I'm good. How you do?
Yeah, a long time I haven't called you, but I did speak there in a while there. Mm-hmm. I remember telling you all about the inhalation of the green papa leaf regular to go through the nostril, because the medication in it, it was to flush the respiratory tract. But I never hear anything on the radio about that, but people I have doing it by asking the helping them. They're glad. And I learned that from you. I get it from the African system. You roll the green papa leaf, and you as regular as you could, you inhale it into your nostril. And you'll see how instead of you speaking, then you'll see how you clear up one time and so on. Yeah! Because you have to flush and you feel like you're flushing the nostril. It's very good. Thanks for that for me, for keeping me really relieved from that.
Okay.
And I mean, I find you could just tell them ask people to try, because somebody says so and hear what they want to tell you when they call you back.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think the thing they call kojo root is also one.
What's the name of the root?
Kojo root. This thing can push with the prickle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Inhaling that one in the nostril, because Vicks inhaler not good for you. The thing they will never stop having anything in your nostril through this thing and them chemicals again. Anyhow, take care, everyone.
Thank you. You too. Take care. I remember your suggestion of inhaling the papa leaf. Indeed. All right, let me go to Facebook. Somebody on Facebook says, that shows, as usual, the administration does not plan ahead. Look at our nurses and doctors. There is no one to assist in lifting the weight off their shoulders. It's a sad state, but their lives matter, and they are not iron. They can feel just like the rest of us, just like all of us. I'm not surprised that the nurses have started to feel the effects. It's been a year and a half, and they've been going and going and going. So I'm not surprised. It's just still sad that it's gotten to this point. I understand yesterday that some of the nurses at the medical center in St. George's, they were not on duty, and I understand they're not on duty today as well. Somebody who had an appointment today told her that there's no doctor on call, or there's no doctor in the facility. Hopefully it gets better tomorrow, Friday, God willing. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller.
Hello?
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, how are you?
Yeah, morning.
All right, go right ahead.
Yes.
Good morning. Just mute your television or your radio. You'll hear me through the phone.
Yes.
Good morning. Just mute your television or your radio. You'll hear me through the phone. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm calling about the people that have the virus.
Go ahead. Mute your TV.
Yeah, when they have the virus, they get a place to put in quarantine. Because you have some people out by me here have the virus, and the people is walking about. They's not staying at the home, some of them.
Have you called the Ministry of Health or the police?
No.
I suggest you do that, because they may not be aware that they're not staying isolated as they should. So I said, which area are you living in?
St. David's.
St. David's? Okay, so I suggest you call the police or the Ministry of Health and let them know what's taking place so that they can look into it. They're probably not aware that the people are not isolating. Okay? Hello?
And I like to advise people to boost their immune system, take their vitamin C.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you very much for that, caller. Just a reminder, the focus may be elsewhere for those in authority. I'm trying to trust some of us. Not all of us are trustworthy. So the onus, the onus is on each and every one of us to report it. I think the Ministry of Health even released some information about having a duty to report people who should be isolating or who should be in quarantine and they're not there. So if you know of people who are not staying home or in the quarantine facilities when they should, call your nearest police station, call the Ministry of Health, call somebody, and let them know what's taking place, because they just may not be aware that Blossom is not staying in isolation. So just make a phone call. It's your duty to report it. How soon they act on the report is another story, but at least do your part in the process and report all man jack, because they're putting the rest of us in danger. WhatsApp are coming just now. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my dear.
Morning.
First time I call in your program.
Thank you for calling. I appreciate you.
Yeah, first time I'm calling it. The young man that talked about the papaya leaf, I know about that as well, but I'm not sure the amount. I guess you use a little bit. But what I could tell you about, and I know your mom knows about that. Me and your mom went to school together. She knows who I am. Is a leaf they call zebra peak. Zebra peak, you use one leaf and 1 cup of water and you boil that. And I think it's the bitterness of this thing does something to it. And I really hope people will do it. The older people knows about the zebra peak. But I could tell you, it is extremely good for if you're having a flu, if you're kind of trying to get a flu, you boil 1 leaf because it's extremely bitter and 1 cup of water. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And I specifically want to thank you for the measurement, because a lot of us tend to overdo it sometimes with our measurements and what we consume. And I'm going to issue a warning here as well for self-medicating. Because we grew up with granny and great-granny and grandpa and even mommy and daddy drinking bush and combining bush with fruits and so on to battle things, we tend to take all those recipes forward. I'm not telling you not to do it, but I'm not telling you to do it. Do not self-medicate. If you have flu-like symptoms, don't say it's a cold or don't say it's COVID and I'm treating COVID for myself. I suggest you get to your medical or confirmation of whatever it is that you may be going through, and then maybe if they prescribe their own medication, it's up to you if you prefer to take Zebapic and Papa Leaf. But don't self-medicate, don't self-diagnose, and don't self-medicate. Please be careful. We tend to overdo it. Sometimes when they say, Mommy, you are speaking to now. Sometimes when they say, put this bush in a cup of water and it's good for something, we take a whole heap of bush and we boil it or we draw it and we drink that. And we overdosing ourselves. Please, people, be careful, be mindful, take caution. Do not self-diagnose and do not self-medicate. I beg. We think because it's bush, we could do a cup of bush to a cup of water. Please be careful. Let me take this final caller before we go to the break. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Blossom. How are you?
Morning, I'm good.
Yeah, well, I grew up with my granny and my great-grand. The measurement for bush, the leaves, is 3 leaves. And they operate just as you see you go to the doctor. The doctor give you medicine, medication, and he tell you take 2 tablets for 8 days, or 5 days, or 6 days. That's what you do with the leaf. You take 3 leaves for a certain amount of days, and then you stop it. The goalie root, what the guy speak about, that is very good. I know I had in sinus, and that is what get rid of it. The root, you root it and you inhale it. If you get that bush and you try it, and you have someone that faint and you don't have an smelling salt, that bush bring them right back up. My experience with this COVID thing, it will spread and spread rapidly in Grenada, because my experience with there's people that have it. I know, and they're still moving around. But I have nothing to say. They said the distance is 6 feet, and I'm not keeping 6 feet. I take my own measurement between 8 and 10. Now, in Grenada, we are very small, and that is what's going to cripple us. The government would not shut down Grenada, but the people is going to shut it down because each and every business is going to start getting somebody that have the effect, and it will have to shut down. The people not taking heed. Be careful. Our nurses, I just say that we don't have 1,000 or 2,000 nurses in Grenada. Everything is going to get over. Since before we had all these cases, they had nurses come from Cuba to assist. The people, we're going to get over no matter what we do because the people not here. And the first time I could remember why I'm not reporting, I saw people that came from the airport and supposed to go to quarantine, and because I spoke to them with the taxi was asking, and they came and lived very close to me.
Okay.
And in seconds, they leave and go around, and I call and tell them they bamboozle me on the radio how I too fast and what do and blah blah blah. Let's go.
Okay.
All of us in problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. On that note, let's take a break and come back inside with more on Open Line Thursday. On To The Point, we'll be right back.
CPL T20 is back. Catch all the smashing action from St. Kitts and Nevis, August 26 to September 15
on GBN.
It's how you play.
Feel good facts.
Help prevent cold and flu by washing your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. That's the time it takes to remove most germs. No soap and water? No worries when you've got alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
As GBN brings you coverage of this year's Hero CPL, there will be some adjustments to our programming lineup. On match days, transitions will be aired from 5:25 p.m. and GBN TV News will be aired from 6 p.m. and repeated following the CPL game. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere with sports coverage.
You're not here to give it all than what you're here for. So get up.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio. The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
Feel good facts.
Avoid the most common causes of spreading the flu. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue, dispose of it straight away, and either wash your hands or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
Welcome back to The Point. It's Open Line here on the program. Once again, the landline number, 435-2041. The WhatsApp number is also 435-2041. Please, only written messages on WhatsApp. And you can continue to post your comments, questions, queries, concerns on Facebook and YouTube. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. All right, lost that caller. Let me go to Facebook in the meantime. Somebody on Facebook says, people, now is not the time to be blaming who caused the virus. It is a time for us to do the right thing. Another Facebooker says, at this time we have to protect ourselves, wear your masks, sanitize, follow protocols, stop making police have to tell you what to do. As big people, stop making people tell you what to do. Big facts. Good morning, caller. Good morning. Hi.
Hello. I called before. I have a list that I collected on things that could give you immunity from viruses and so on. And as I believe this is very important because as a doctor who is now dead, and I'm very sorry about that, he says that you cannot treat viruses, and the vaccine is showing just that. You cannot treat viruses. Another doctor who was never here, I was elsewhere, he said that you take medication because what it does is to quieten the body so that your immune system can perform the cure.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
1, garlic is antiviral with honey.
30 more seconds, caller, because you've had a chance already. Go ahead.
Star anise with ginger, star anise, coconut oil, black grapes, dark chocolate, 90% or more, pistachio nuts, strawberries, citrus, red, yellow, green peppers, sweet potatoes, parsley, rosemary, oregano. There's something called tulsi, which is an Ayurvedic kind of herb, and it's supposed to be some kind of basil, but it's one that they say is only found in India. Thyme. You maintain your D3 level.
Okay.
Okay, which is in milk, from milk and eggs and dairy products. You get off white sugar now, or anything with white sugar, and white or bleached flour.
All right.
Zinc, selenium.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, caller.
Cashew and almond.
Thank you very much, caller. Let's give somebody else a chance to phone in. All right. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, is that a radio program?
Yes, it is. To the point. You're live.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
I guess the topic is about the virus.
Well, it's open line, but if that's what you want to speak about, go right ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm calling because I'm concerned about when you drive around during the daytime. It's amazing how these rum shops are allowed to open to have men gathering there. And what is more appalling about that situation, you're seeing men, big grown men who has family, gathering by these rum shops with no mask on and drinking, going home to their families after. So I'm wondering what the government plans to do about that, because I wonder if a rum shop is an essential place. I mean, this is very, very troubling. That rum shops, and I'm not talking about shops that may sell little groceries. I'm talking about specifically rum shops that continue to open. So somebody look into that for me, please. Thank
you very much, caller. I guess as the regulations didn't specifically point out who should be closed and who should be opened, they did say, supermarkets can open, and I guess once you're termed a quote-unquote shop, then you're allowed to open. But if it's only rum, but I mean, yes, the government can play their part, but big man is, as the local saying, you're big and you have sense. As grown people, I mean, we know we shouldn't be gathering. The gatheration shouldn't be taking place. So, I mean, yes, we call on the government to do things, but it's our own individual responsibilities. As grown men with families, we know we have wives and girlfriends and fiancés and child or children home to protect. It's our own individual responsibility. But I guess it's something that government could look into, shops that don't actually sell groceries but just alcohol. Then maybe it's something that they can look into. Let me go to WhatsApp. I haven't read a WhatsApp in a while. Oh, yes, I haven't read a WhatsApp in a while. And lots of WhatsApps. All right, so somebody on WhatsApp says, it is sad that government continues its trend on not fulfilling what is needed to develop the country and bring in revenue while creating employment and reducing wastage. We have so much natural resources to export, yet we continue to run behind the quick tourism dollar. When will they do something with what we have? We also have those businessmen and women who refuse to invest in our country. Some full of money bring down organizations and now want to build the same organization back. No vision, no foresight. If this 14 people can see beyond their pocket full and our citizens can see what we need and not just debushing our handouts to be kept in power, then we are doomed. Still on WhatsApp, teacher's salary was deducted because of failure to report to work with notice of the relevant authorities. I would really like to know what form of action the Ministry of Health and Government would take. That's a different situation. That apple and grapes. Apples and grapes. Our nurses and doctors, they're not on strike, they're just tired. Just like when we work and we need a little day rest and we take a sick day. Just so happens, I guess, that all of them sick day fall on the same day. They're just that different. Sorry. That's how I see it. I see it as a different situation compared to the teachers. Somebody else on WhatsApp says, I understand that the government brought in Cuban doctors to assist with COVID patients and those doctors caught COVID. So now the Grenadian doctors have to take the pressure. I haven't heard that report. I am trying to recall how many Cuban medical personnel are still in Grenada. Can't remember. All right, let me go to YouTube. Somebody on YouTube says, the busmen provide an essential service to everyone because our government doesn't have a PTS. So we have to depend on the private sector to provide the service. So the busmen have the right to protect themselves. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Rossum.
Morning, how you do?
I'm good. I have two things I want to make. One is a comment on the beaches. That the government said we shutting down the beaches and only from 5 to 10 in the morning that you're allowed to beach. And I don't understand the logistics of the beach being zeroed out, because that is a way of people detoxing and relaxing and families kind of getting together instead of being locked down in a house. And so we know we have to not gather together with other people. A beach is big enough to be able to separate people. So I don't understand what the logistics behind beach shutting down. And also, what if everybody decides to come down and be between 5 and 10 in the morning? What will happen? The beach will be overcrowded that time. So I don't understand what the logistics. That's the first point. The other point was concerning provisions for assisting the government in the Ministry of Health. There are people out here and there who want to help in some way, even, and how we getting around to helping the Ministry of Health in maybe using hotlines or receiving calls, taking messages, doing data processing, or responding to people, giving tests out to people, get additional outside help instead of just having the nurses and doctors doing all the work. And how those persons who are registered for becoming doctors and so in SU and so on, all these young people who are interested in becoming doctors, are they helping in some way so they can get a little bit of credibility to they offer, they want to serve? And are they using these people? Are they using our people who are in nurses that are not working to help? So some help in that area. I think there is need to get involved with other people.
Okay.
To help in the service.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In relation to the beaches, I guess it's taken for granted that any user of the beach between 5 and 10 are people who mostly use it for exercise or a little morning dip. Anything after 10, maybe people who want to fetch and have a good time. While they say, don't gather on the beach, we have a little rebels, as was evident a few weeks ago. We have some rebels that, especially the young people, might decide, let's go on a bus tour and then we culminate on a beach somewhere and have a good time. A beach that is not too much in the public eye. So we just want to, I guess they just want to avoid all that and say, nobody come on the beach after 10 o'clock. Anybody before that, take your dip, exercise, stretch, take a stroll, but be off the beach by 10. Maybe that's the logistics behind closing the beach at 10 o'clock. It's hurting my feelings because 10 is when I end. And I'd like to go for a little dip, Can't get a beach. In terms of doctors, I understand that there are health professionals who are assisting who haven't been assisting before, if that makes sense. Some may be unemployed, but those who were in other organizations, those who were on vacation, maybe a leave, they've been called, some of them at least, have been called back into the service to provide that support to our health sector. I'm not sure about the unemployed health professionals, but those who are on leave, on some of them at least, have been called back. All right, let me wind down. Let me go back by Facebook. Somebody on Facebook asks, why wasn't Grenada a part of the first historic African CARICOM summit held 2 days ago? Our CARICOM and African leaders did themselves great. Not sure. Still on Facebook, somebody says, I'm so baffled today that Grenadians are up in arms about the ethics committee that is being formed. Did the news in Grenada cover Italy when they had to make the heartbreaking decisions on who to treat so they could live and who to let transition? New York did it for months during the hardest part of the pandemic. EMTs were told when they answered 911 calls to leave patients if their chances of survival was grim. What Grenada is experiencing now is what I went through in New York in 2020. I saw a comment on Facebook that said it's not so much the forming of the ethics committee. For those of you who may have missed it, it was announced by the Ministry of Health that they're forming an ethics committee in the event that decisions have to be made about who gets assistance and whose assistance will be delayed. Somebody commented it's not so much the forming of the ethics committee, because each hospital, hospitals worldwide have ethics committee. The problem is, one, making it public, and two, the way it came across, it was like it sounded harsh and insensitive. So maybe that is part of the problem. Me telling you that a group of people would come together and they would decide of all our COVID patients who lives and who dies. So maybe it's how the message came across. That's part of our problem. Not necessarily the message, but the messenger, and not what you say, but how you say it. Okay, let's wind down. Let me read. I don't think I have more time for calls, so let me read two more calls. Let me read two more messages. One each on Facebook and YouTube. Somebody on WhatsApp says, I am in sympathy with the medical community and frontline workers. The government should ask retired nurses to come out. The government should pass a law to allow nurses to work past the age of 60. They also should leave room for individuals to be called back to duty after retirement, if they're willing. When I'm in retirement, I want to retire, don't call me. So it depends on if they're willing. And one more comment on Facebook. Somebody says, our little Grenada does not have the resources of the other countries. As a result, it's very easy for the healthcare system to become overwhelmed. Unless fellow Grenadians unite to fight this virus, it can destroy our island. That's a good point to point out. We all need to come together. This is no longer about red and yellow and green. It's no longer about who you support. It's no longer about if you like the Prime Minister, if you don't like the Minister of Health. That ain't it. That ain't it, sis. It's time for us to come together and fight this. Take responsibility for yourselves, your loved ones, your family. If you want to get vaccinated, you have an opportunity to do so. Vaccination sites are across the island. They have mobile sites set up as well. Testing sites are being set up as well. Pfizer and AstraZeneca are available if you want to get vaccinated. You decide what course of action you'd like to take to protect yourself and the lives of your others. Some that you need to pay attention to, the protocols. Your masks, your hand sanitizers, washing your hands, 6 feet distance. If you don't have to leave home, stay home. If you don't have to be outside, stay inside. If you could possibly get a ride to somewhere and avoid public transportation, you do that. Whatever you need to do to stay safe, stay COVID-19 free, then that's what needs to happen. Let me just run the numbers by you once again as we end to the point this morning. As of 8 p.m. yesterday, Grenada recorded 1,406, or I should say there are 1,406 active COVID-19 cases as we speak. There was an additional death yesterday, bringing the total to 14. The numbers came up with the addition of 135 new cases recorded yesterday. So please, everybody, continue to be safe, continue to be cautious. Overall, we've recorded 1,700 plus COVID-19 cases since March 2020. So we're nearing the 2,000 mark. I don't want you all to be among the statistics, so do what you need to do to stay safe and protect yourselves. Now let's get ready to end the program and begin the broadcast of this morning's 2021 Hero CPL game. The game this morning is going to feature, I'm talking slowly to bring up the fixture before me. The game this morning is going to feature, I believe, the St. Lucia Kings versus the Barbados Royals. St. Lucia Kings features Grenada's Andre Fletcher on the team. He top scored a few matches ago. Let's see what he brings to the crease today. Tune in to Classic 105 and GBN TV for the matches. The Trinbago Knight Riders and the Barbados Royals are contesting the 10 o'clock match. The St. Lucia Kings are in the 7 p.m. match against the Jamaica Talawas. So stay tuned. Up next, Barbados Royals against Trinbago Knight Riders, the defending champions in the 2021 Hero CPL. Continue to be safe, be cautious. If you don't have to leave home, stay home. That's the end of my time for today. Enjoy the rest of your thankful Thursday. Have yourselves a blessed day.